Well, that definitely escalated quickly, so let's get right into it. Alright everyone, so we're going to be talking about Crackdown 3 today, and look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, I'm just going to give my honest thoughts on it. But know this, I like to tackle more situations from a multiple different angle approach. I like to look at like the good, the bad. I'm kind of a glass half full and half empty guy at the same time. So let's go all the way back to when Crackdown 3 was actually announced. It was 2014. But before that, we saw kind of a tech test at GDC. No one knew that I had anything to do with Crackdown 3 because we hadn't heard about the game yet. So E3 comes around and we discover that Crackdown 3 is a thing, and people began to notice that there's a certain building that looked familiar, and it was in the GDC demo. And then I think there was like a tweet or something about it having 100% destructibility. And then we hear nothing. Year passes, it gets to Gamescom 2015. And we get shown this really cool trailer. We're shown a city where all these dozens of different crime bosses are hiding out. And like the first game, you have to go and take them out. And you collect orbs along the way. And this detailed city looked awesome. But the best thing about that trailer is that towards the end, they start discussing multiplayer. 100% destruction. Never been done before. And essentially you're getting two cities, one for single player, which is highly detailed. You're gonna have all these vehicles and NPCs walking around and whatnot. You're gonna have this city which you can absolutely tear up with up to 4 friends against another team of 5. And then we hear nothing. Gets to 2016, we hear nothing. Gets to 2017, and for the first part of the year we didn't hear anything. And then Crackdown Twitter pretty much talked about how they're going to be at E3. And before E3 happened, I remember seeing people online complain that they haven't heard anything about the campaign. The irony. And E3 comes around, we get shown single player and Terry Crews, which is awesome by the way. But multiplayer wasn't there. Multiplayer, the big takeaway that people took from Crackdown 3 when we saw it in 2015. So the kicker was that people wanted to see multiplayer all of a sudden. And understandable, like that multiplayer looks insane. So we hear nothing, we just get told we're going to see it at a later date. Later date being Gamescom. Multiplayer is a big part of Crackdown 3. Really big part. I think it was kind of telling that we didn't see much. But I think the delay may be a 2-factor thing. At E3, people saw the graphics and they were complaining about how it looks. They didn't like cell shading now, when other games can get away with it. Which I found odd, by the way. And then Comic-Con happened and they had a terrible demo. They had celebrities play that didn't know what they were doing. One of them even said, "How do you jump?" And the other actor said, "Oh, I think you press B." B is not jump in any game. That's not how it works. But again, people were freaking out because of this gameplay demo. And then the Rad Brad had that very good gameplay demo of him just talking about it. And then silence. Absolute silence. People are worried. Really worried. But Crackdown 3 had this weird kind of focused hate towards it. Towards everyone. People from IGN, I think it may have been IGN, just one of the big media outlets, they were hating on Crackdown. They didn't like the way it looked. They just thought it looked weird. Because, you know, again, cell shading is only okay when someone else does it. But online, it was pretty obvious people were complaining about it, because it wasn't this super realistic looking, pretentious game. And we don't even get a teaser for Crackdown 3 at Gamescom, and then we hear about the delay. I think that this delay happened for a few reasons. The multiplayer is probably the biggest one. Look, that multiplayer hasn't even been attempted before by anyone, so it's kind of a catch-22. Could they have released the game this year without the multiplayer and then release the multiplayer next year? Yeah, they could have. But remember Grand Theft Auto 5? The behemoth that is Grand Theft Auto 5. People lost it. And I'm one of the people that are in the Grand Theft Auto 5 community and Grand Theft Auto Online community. Like, people were mad. I was mad. But Grand Theft Auto is that big, they got past it. Crackdown isn't that big. They couldn't get past that. So they were either going to release it this year without the multiplayer, people lose it, and look, it would have tanked in reviews if it didn't have that multiplayer. Or they could have just fully delayed it until next year and released it all at once, which, to be honest, I'd rather have a full game released at once than a game released bits at a time. Another thing is that, what if they actually took the feedback on how the game looked? Because again, I'm fine with cel shading. I've been fine with cel shading since Wind Waker in the early 2000s. And I was fine with cel shading in Borderlands. But if you look at how the game looked in 2015, it was just kind of cel shaded. So what if they're going to try and bring it back a bit? Because cel shading, believe it or not, actually requires more effort than not having cel shading. So maybe they're going to just bring it back a bit, because it's an Unreal Engine game from what I'm aware of, and maybe they're just going to make it look quote unquote more like a Unreal Engine game rather than a cel shaded game. And you know, I'm disappointed, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to say it's the end over a delay. And people are gonna, you know, add this onto other things that's happened. But, well, that's the thing, we're talking about Crackdown. And I'm going to talk about Xbox as a whole at a later date. But today, I'm talking about Crackdown. It was my most anticipated game. So believe me when I say, I wanted it. I really wanted this game this year. But, look, like other games, and people can't compare these. I'm comparing delays in general. I would rather have a game I'm looking forward to get delayed and then eventually released as a full game, finished, than a game that's released early and not. That's a simple fact. And some of my favourite games of all time have gotten delays. And, you know, I'll get on with it. And Crackdown 3 wasn't going to be this showpiece for the system like what Forza Motorsport 7 is going to be. Although I do like how the second the delay happened, forums filled with people that hated on the game for months, but all of a sudden saying they were going to buy an X for this. Funny thing is, you can still find the links to these people hating on the game that all of a sudden like it. The irony is that this never stops, no matter what. But again, that's just my 2 cents for today. If you enjoyed the video, please hit like and subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and I'm going to get back to doing regular content. Should have more videos out every day, hopefully, throughout the next week, or should I say leading up to Gamescom. So yeah, have a good one, and don't freak out, just take a chill pill. I'm out.